Hello, children. Today, let's learn punctuation in English. Punctuation is a set of marks that clarifies the meaning of a text. Now, here you have some text. The text written here is, "What is your name?" Now, when you read this text, you come to know that this is a question. And how do you know it's a question? Because you see a question mark at the end. There's a capital letter for the beginning and it has ended with a question mark. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Now, this is a statement. You know that tomorrow is Tuesday. Here, the sentence has begun with a capital letter and it has ended with a full stop. Now, looking at these two sentences that you have got before you, you know that the first one is a question because there's a question mark at the end of it. And the second one is a statement because there's a full stop. Now, let's understand when do we use a full stop, a question mark, a capital letter. A sentence always begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. So whenever you write a sentence, it always begins with a capital letter. The first letter of the word that is the beginning of the sentence is always a capital letter. And when you have completed it, you end it with a full stop. Let's take an example. Read the poem aloud. Here you can see the first letter is R. It's the beginning, so it's a capital letter. And the sentence has ended with a full stop. Proper nouns begin with a capital letter. So all proper nouns, that is the specific names given to nouns, which are called proper nouns, they always begin with a capital letter. Let's take an example. Today is Friday. Now, Friday is a proper noun. So, Friday begins with F, a capital F, because it's a proper noun. And since the word today is the beginning of a sentence, T begins with a capital letter. The sentence ends with a full stop. It is a statement. Single I is always capital. So whenever you use the letter I as a word, which stands for yourself, for myself, it is always capital. For example, that's a capital I. Reena and I are friends. Reena is capital because it's the beginning of a sentence and also it is a proper noun. I, as I've just told you, is always a capital letter when it is used by itself. I, only I. And you have a full stop at the end of the sentence. Question mark. A question mark is used at the end of a question. Example, do you like the rain? So you see, it's a question. I've asked you a question. Do you like the rain? So it has ended with a question mark. And D is capital because it is the beginning of the question sentence. Capital letter, full stop, question mark. Now these are the three punctuation marks we have learned are called punctuation marks. I repeat, capital letter, full stop, question mark are called punctuation marks. Now let us rewrite the sentences using the correct punctuation marks. Here you can see, this is a mango tree. Now there are no punctuations here. When you punctuate it, it reads as, this is a mango tree, where T, that is this T is capital. After tree, there's a full stop because the sentence is completed. Moving on to the next one. My parents and I eat fruits daily. Let's punctuate it. My parents and I eat fruits daily. It has begun with a capital M, beginning of a sentence. I is always capital when it is used by itself, and the sentence ends with a full stop. Will you play with me? Now, when you write it like this, you don't know whether it's a question. So let's write it correctly. Will you play with me? I have a question mark at the end, which tells me that this is a question. And the sentence is begun with a capital letter. As you know, we always begin sentences with a capital letter. The next sentence, I live in Mumbai. Now, here we have I as a capital letter for two reasons. The first reason, because it is the beginning word of the sentence, and also I by itself is always a capital letter. Mumbai is a proper noun, so we have capital M, and the sentence is completed with the full stop. So we read it as I live in Mumbai. What did you do yesterday? So to write it correctly, we begin with a capital letter. That's what is a question word. So what did you do yesterday? We have ended it with a question mark. So you know that this is a question that has been asked. So children, these are the three punctuation marks which you need to learn. Full stop, capital letter and question mark. Now let us read the following sentences and rewrite them in your notebook using capital letters, full stops and question marks. This is on page 32 of your Balbharati book. But children, you will write it in your English notebook. The first one, I like to swim. So when you punctuate it, I is capital for two reasons, because it's the beginning of a sentence and I is always capital when it is used by itself. We have ended the sentence with a full stop. The next one, can you sing? So can, C is capital, beginning of a sentence, and the sentence is ended with a question mark telling you that this is a question. I love my family. So once again, I is capital for two reasons, beginning of a sentence, and because I is always capital when it is used by itself, we end with a full stop because the sentence is completed. What is your age? So here we have what, which is capital, beginning of a sentence, and it ends with a question mark telling us that this is a question that is being asked. Neeta went to school. Here we have Neeta beginning with capital N for two reasons. One, because it is the beginning of a sentence, and secondly, because Neeta is a proper noun. And this sentence is a statement, so it ends with a full stop. So children, remember, full stop are used for sentences that are statement, that is something that is a fact or real. And a question mark is used at the end of a sentence that asks a question.